Why do I doubt myself so much? It's a question that I've been wrestling with now for a couple of days. And it's one that I believe in this video you will find a lot of value from because I have now come to see doubt from a different perspective. A lot of people, when they think about doubt, they think more so of a fear of failure, doubting their abilities, their skill sets. Some people have a doubt because of insecurities and self-thoughts about themselves and their ability to complete a thing or actually doing a thing. But what I want to present to you here today, and just for exploration, is your doubt might not come from either of those. Now, when I've analyzed my doubt, one thing that I had to think about was where my doubt comes from. And if you're truly thinking about yourself and you're thinking about why you doubt your abilities or what is the root cause of your doubt, then you will find that it's a lot deeper than just, I don't think that I can do it. In my case, here's something that I found that I want to bring to a perspective for you. My doubt was rooted in perfectionism, and it still is. After just pondering this is something that I've just been exploring for myself. My doubt is and has been rooted in being perfect. So for me, it's not the fact that I can't do it. It's not the fact that I don't have the capabilities of doing it. I wholeheartedly believe that whatever the task is that I'm given or whatever the service is, that I could do it 100%. For me, it's more so doing it to the standards that I have set for myself or the standards that other people have set before me. Simply put, I want to serve to the expectations that other people have of what well is. And serving well means being excellent. And to me, in my mind, being excellent means being perfect. And it's something that I never really thought about. So whenever I would analyze things for myself, and you may be doing this also in your life, do you always catch yourself not being satisfied? Do you find moments where you should be grateful in your accomplishments, but in every accomplishment, you're always finding something in which you could be better? I'm not saying that there aren't areas in which we can grow. What I'm saying is that you're never satisfied. Your need to satisfy is always being looked at by a bar that either you set for yourself or that you have set for the expectations of someone else. You find yourself being pushed or excelling in what you do to your own benefit in regards of what pleases you, meaning that you doubt your capabilities of satisfying your own expectations. That's basically what I'm getting at. And so it led me to think about perfectionism and how many of us, we may struggle with being perfect all the time. And a lot of our doubts could come from being perfect. Now, when I first started analyzing and I started thinking about doubt, my mind first went to being humble, right? And how humility could be disguised as being doubtful. But I had to be very careful when I started to read about humility and being humble that we don't confuse humility with doubt. Humility says that I recognize what I'm given and I'm grateful for it, therefore I do it. False humility, however, is I recognize what I'm given, but because I don't think that I could live up to the standards of what I'm given, then I go the opposite way. For example, instead of you using the gifts that God gave you to do well, you use your gifts very little because of the standards in which you want to do well. And you call that humility. Some people use the humility to remain from being prideful, but the humility that people use, and I was one of them, is still rooted in self. Your humility does not come from you. Your humility comes from the direction of God and God giving you the things that you have. You're not humble because of yourself. You're humble because you realize that there is another force. There is something else, right? The Spirit, there's God who has made provisions for you. And so Many of us, we use that to not step into pride, but ultimately what happens is we begin to doubt what God has said about us, or we begin to doubt the things that God has actually given us that we should be grateful for and move in. Have you ever found yourself in a position where you knew who you were and you knew the skills that you had, but yet you just didn't want to use it because you didn't want to think highly of yourself over anyone else? Although you are the only one qualified to do what it is that you were asked to do. So let's wrestle with that. Why? Why do we feel that way with regards to perfectionism? Why is perfectionism over humility? And do we have the proper understanding? Do we have the proper understanding of humility? I don't think we do. I think many of us think we are being humble by lessening ourselves in regards to the service that we do so that we don't be prideful, while yet in the same time not taking action on the things that only we can do, that we are good at doing. And that hurts us. That hurts us quite a bit as people. So what does the Bible say about doubt, about self-doubt? There are many examples in the Bible about doubt. One of the examples that I want to bring that I thought about was Moses. If you read in Exodus, you read about Moses. When God came to Moses, he had told Moses what he needed him to do for his people. And Moses began to come up with so many other excuses about himself. Well, Lord, I'm not great at speech, right? I don't have a great tongue to be able to speak, right? And Moses just kept going on and on about how he's not qualified or how he's not worthy. And yet what God was saying was, no, I chose you. Don't worry about speaking. Don't worry about having to have eloquent speech or this or that for my people. I will prepare the way for you to do everything that I'm calling you to do. And so that made me think with regards to myself, and hopefully this helps you in your own doubts. If God gave it to you and you are gifted at doing it, whether it is a service, whether it's an idea for you to start a business, whether it's you starting YouTube and continuing social media, whether it's you walking up to people trying to sell something to them, trying to make money, whatever it is, if God gave it to you and God placed you in the position and gave you the gifts to do it and do it well, why do you doubt doing it well? God never told you to be perfect. God didn't even give you the standard for yourself of whatever level of success that you feel like you have to be at to be satisfied in your doing and satisfy yourself. Like God never gave that to you. God even told us in the Bible that everything you do it in the name of the Lord, and you do it for the goodness of the Lord, and that God would be pleased. And so as we operate and as we serve people, or as we create and we come up with all of these ideas about what to do in this life, then we shouldn't have to worry if God is pleased. So now that leads to the last thought that I want to leave you with. Are you self-doubting because you feel like you won't live up to your own expectation, and therefore you're taking the attention away from God's expectation and placing it on yourself? Are you trying to be the worker and the judge? Are you trying to be the doer of the service and the judge of the service? Do you really know the expectations that others have as far as what your best is? No one really knows what your best is other than the person who gave you the gifts to do your best with, which is God. And I believe that's a word that we need to remember when we doubt ourselves. It might not just be a fear of failure. Maybe you're not afraid of failing. Maybe you know you will fail. Maybe it's not an insecurity that you have. Maybe you know yourself in and out and you know your capabilities. Maybe what it is that you've come to a point to not start if it's not perfect. If it doesn't go your way and it's not perfect, then you won't start. And that also leads us to a control issue. You need to be in control. It's not self-doubt that you may deal with. It's control that you might deal with. If you cannot control the outcome of how it's going to happen when you start that business, when you do the thing that you've been afraid to do, when you use your gifts and your skill sets, if it doesn't go the way you want it to go, then you just won't start. And that might not be self-doubt. That might just be you needing control. So it's something that you definitely need to ponder. Know where your doubt comes from. See the angle and the root of why you even doubt yourself in the first place. Because it might not just be the simple version. It might just be something else. Need for control. Need to be perfect. A standard that you've set for yourself. A standard that you've given other people to view you from. And you're hoping that people see you in a particular light. So you work and work and work and you're never satisfied. Or simply put, a need to satisfy yourself. See where that comes from and align it biblically. Because I'm telling you right now, half of the things that we doubt ourselves about do not align biblically. What does God say about you? God has made you in his image. And God has placed you here with the gifts that he has given you to do well. God is the one that's going to judge whether or not you utilize those gifts and you've done well. And God is going to guide you on how to do it. You don't need to place any of that upon yourself regarding the standard of what well looks like. How good is good. How perfect is perfect. You don't need to do that. That's for God to do. But just trust and know that God is always there with you, guiding you, pushing you to do your best. And just know that in the end, when it's all said and done, he does want to see you. And he should be able to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. If this video raised questions about things that you've been struggling with in your own life, then I would love to continue this conversation with you. I offer free one-on-one coaching consultations where we'll talk about where you are, what you're struggling with, and what you're hoping to achieve. And hopefully together we can determine if coaching is a good fit for you, which I would encourage everyone to go into coaching. And then we'll see what the next steps look like from there. So if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, feel free to click the link below, fill out the form, and we'll discuss next steps from there. I pray nothing but blessings and peace over your life as you continue to walk with me on this Christian journey, and I'll talk to you next time.